Stuart Broad, Broadly Speaking. What a great book, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really enjoyed writing it.
Congratulations. So you solicited some counsel from people who you love and respect, both in the game and off the cricket pitch. And you was trying to sort of figure out whether it was the right time to retire. And lots of your mates said, when you know. But you didn't know.
I had no gut feeling, honestly. It was so difficult. Definitely the hardest decision I've ever had. Ultimately, I knew I wanted to finish at the top. I wanted to bowl my last ball playing for England. I wanted to still be loving the game and still be able to achieve. I had this bit of a fear in my soul that I'd play against a 21-year-old. I'm 37. I'd play against a 21-year-old and they'd go, he's rubbish. I thought he was supposed to be good. So I almost wanted to go while I could still play the game, but I was still loving it. I was still playing under Baz and Stokesy, such a joy. And they've taken the fear of failure away. They've taken the pressure away. They've taken the results-driven business away. And honestly, it was like playing club cricket from when I was back at 16 years old. So it was a really difficult decision. But I knew at 37, sport can come at you quite quickly, and I didn't want to just walk off the field with a torn hamstring and that be the end. Yeah. So I had to try and control my own destiny in that. So.
No, it's really important. It's really important. However, you said the opposite to Jimmy Anderson a few years ago, because he was thinking about retiring at the same age as you now have, and you told him not to. So he took your advice, but you didn't rewind that advice back to yourself again.
Yeah, I didn't tell him. It was one of those, I kept my circle really, really small because I knew I had to make the decision, and I didn't. So even when I went to tell the skipper, Stokesy, I wasn't going in for a negotiation. I had to be quite clear as to, right, Stokesy, that's me. I'm done.
That was your phrase, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's me. I just shook his hand. He gave me a big hug. But
and you said to everybody, that's me.
That's me. And I don't know why. I don't think I've ever said that before in my life. It just came out. But
I thought it was going to be the title of your book, but that's me. That's me. But it's not. It's Broadly Speaking. By the way, we think it's a really bad pun, which is why you put it in lowercase at the bottom of the page, the front cover.
Well, I think every autobiography's got to have a bit of a pun in there, don't you think?
Yeah. But you clearly you've given yours as big a banner as it deserves, Broadly Speaking. It is a great book, though. It's a fantastic book. So, Bazball, just give us 15 seconds. I know you only mentioned it once at the beginning, once at the end. It's actually referred to a lot, but during the book. But Bazball is from a guy called Baz. Who is Baz? What is Bazball? In 15 seconds.
Baz McCullum, he's a New Zealand legend cricketer, came in as head coach and has changed the fortunes of the English Test side by freeing up the mentality, getting rid of the results-driven business we lived in, got rid of the fear of failure, and made it feel like you're playing cricket with your friends when you're 15.
Beautifully done. And the only reason I should be so quick with that is because the original Baz was Kaz, your mum, because you were playing Kazball as a kid.
Kazball, yeah.
Tell us about Carol. Because she had a very similar mentality.
Yeah,
she still
did.
Does.
Yeah, so any sport I played, whether that be sort of cricket, rugby, football, hockey, anything, any time I got back in the car, it would never be, you got naught, why did you play that shot? Or why did you drop a catch? The first question was always, have you loved it? Have you had fun? Have you enjoyed it?
What a mum.
And her opinion on sport is, it's not about scoring goals or scoring tries. It's about having fun with your friends. So you can go and get no runs and take no wickets, but you can have a great day.
Yeah.
And I do remember in those years opening the curtains on a Saturday morning and just praying to see sunshine so I could go and play cricket. And sometimes professional sport can drag those feelings away from you. But that's something that Baz and Stokesy have brought back to the group. That I'm 37 and I'm opening the curtains in the morning, going, oh yes, I can play some cricket.
Do you think Brendan got it from Carol?
I don't think he did.
Have you checked?
But Mum might have been a good coach.
Well, she clearly was. Just reading about that part of the book, I was thinking, I've got to line up with my kids. I'm pretty light anyway, but that's just full on. It was always that, wasn't it? She didn't give herself three of those so she could ask you one serious question. That was just her total mentality.
Absolutely, yeah, and so authentic and true with it. You're right. I think almost that fun and enjoyment gets dragged away if the third question's, well, you could have done that way better today,
I'm all guilty of that.
Ultimately, sport. I think we went through that little period where kids would be good at one sport at 12 years old and they'd go, right, that's all you're going to play for the next 3-4 years type thing. And then you just burn out and you don't enjoy it. And all the best cricketers that I've played with, the likes of Joe Root, Joss Butler, Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes. They're all fantastic sports people. They've all played loads of different sports growing up, and then at 16, 17 go, I'm actually really good at cricket. I'm going to play that.
Yeah.
And Mum was crucial for me. And when I actually started playing for Leicestershire under sort of 14, 15s, I had to fill out a form. It said, where have you learnt your cricket? So whether you say school or club cricket, Mum just put the garden, the back garden, because that's where I just wanted to be.
Made me smile when I read that. But it almost didn't happen for you mid-teens, did it? Because
no, it didn't. I sort of didn't get selected. I wasn't showing a huge amount of talent, really.
Or tallness at that time?
No, I grew a foot in a year when I was 16 and a half, which is quite a lot. It's a
Can
bit
you
of,
imagine?
Fate looked after me. I slept a lot.
But that's a very similar thing that happened to Michael Jordan, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah.
He went through a growth spurt.
Yeah.
They sent him away to grow.
Yeah.
And they said, if he grows, we'll be fine. But if he doesn't grow, he came back, he'd grown. Oh, he's grown, it's all right.
Yeah, I got looked after with the growth spurt. But yeah, I knew I had a decent technique, but I just had no power and no strength to sort of hit the ball to the boundary. So I didn't really have a great amount of success from 15, 16, coming into 17. And then because my technique was okay, when I did grow, I caught up. And then suddenly, I at 17, I was umming and ahhing whether cricket was going to be for me because I maybe wasn't quite good enough.
And you loved hockey as well.
I loved hockey, yeah. And then I played for England at 20, I think. So I had a real quick flow into the international game through playing for Leicestershire as well.
Well, good for you and good for us. And, things came screaming back at me. Of course, I forgot that you went in after Johnny Bairstow was, that terrible stumping. I forgot that you were next in and you were so angry and Stokes was there as, I get it. It might get a bit too crickety for some people. I'm going to try and keep it general, but it's so, that story's goosebumps. And you giving it all the bands, which you're not renowned for, but you have got previous of.
I have got previous. I've sort of, especially in my older age playing, I'd pride myself in being able to control my emotions on the field. I'd worked really hard with sort of different team psychologists to be really good at that, but I just had red mist for 10 minutes. And
The most ever
red mist I've ever had, yeah. Johnny got stumped in a unique way.
Yeah.
Given out. The crowd revved me up in a sense. They were booing the Aussies.
The world revved
you up. I lost the plot for 10 minutes and sort of was picking a fight with every Australian I could see.
You were walking around the field.
Yeah, a bit petulant. As for you, it was a bit like that, to be honest. And then I must admit, I gathered my thoughts after about 10 minutes and I got together with Stokesy in the middle who was batting. And I said, how you doing, Skip? Right, you getting on? He sort of said, yeah, do this, do that. I'm going to do this. And he said, and continue what you're doing. I said, what do you mean? He's like, continue going at them because I think you're wobbling them. They've gone away from what they were doing.
They went quiet, didn't they?
They went quiet. So it was 10 minutes of red mist, which I'm a bit embarrassed about. And then it was a little bit more calculated and it was a little bit more guided to try and get a bit of a mental uplift. And it was a weird feeling because I remember going to get a coffee with Molly after that game, and we're 2-0 down in the Ashes at this stage. And people in the street were going, loving the cricket, keep going, it's been fantastic.
We had a couple of the lads in here, we used to like...
But I was almost going, I wanted to go, we're 2-0 down, we're losing type
Nobody
thing.
cares.
But they were just loving the entertainment of it and the fun of it and the style that we were trying to play. And if it wasn't for the rain at Manchester, I think it would have been one of the greatest sort of sporting comebacks we've seen.
Yeah, no, you mentioned Molly there. One of the greatest get-together stories I've ever read about. First of all, do you mind telling people who Molly is if they don't already know, and then how you got together?
Yeah, so Molly used to be in the Saturdays and then is now a radio presenter, does sort of Thursday nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She's, it's incredible how she's managed to change careers and grow as a person. Now mother to Annabella, our near 1-year-old daughter. So yeah, she's a star. And I think she's played such a crucial role since we've been together in giving me a great perspective in sport as well, because she's probably, in her own words, she hadn't watched any cricket before we got together. We got put in touch by a mutual friend. I'd sort of said in an interview years ago, we're talking like 12 years ago, they're like, who do you, a bit old school, but who do you fancy type thing? And I said, Molly King from the Saturdays. And that mutual friend then was in a PR day with her and said, this cricketer likes you, but he's just got injured. Would you send him I think it was even the days before video messages, but like a tweet or something. And that was our first connection. But I share the birthday with her mum. Right. So that was almost our first sort of talking, and then we had a few dates when we were younger, 10 years ago probably. But like I was playing international cricket for 3 teams at the time, the 2020 one day and test, so I was all over the world. I was going to New Zealand, she was going to LA, and it just didn't work at that time, and we got back together about 5 years ago and haven't looked back since, really, and we're growing a family together now.
That is amazing. You referred to an injury there. What's it like to have both cheeks broken and your nose broken by a single ball? How painful is that? Is that the most pain you've ever been in on a cricket pitch? How does it compare to your bloody bleeding feet every day at the end of a test match?
The feet are an interesting one. So as a fast bowler, 10 times your body weight goes through your ankles and feet every ball. Oh. So it's, so there's a bit of stress going on. And I must admit, people have said, "Oh, how are you feeling about moving away from the game? Like, have you missed it loads?" And of course I'm going to miss the competitive side and the moments where you take wickets but the feet, I'm not going to miss. I'm not going to miss those little niggles and the little pain that comes with it. But there's something, when you're in it together with your team, there's something quite nice about sharing a bit of pain with your team at times, and you're doing it for your teammates.
Your feet were always the bloodiest.
Yes.
They were literally bleeding.
Every fast bowler has it, but mine...
From the toes or from the sole of the foot?
Yeah, toes.
Toenails?
Yeah, they're gone.
Black toe?
Yeah, that's that.
So it's the cricketing equivalent of cauliflower ears for a
it probably is. Yeah, it probably is, but at least we can hide ours.
I once overserved to my son, who was 7 at the time, because I wanted to beat him, and I was 50. I'll never forget it. It was one serve at tennis. It was at Chewton Glen Hotel. It was in the indoor court, and I quite deservedly ripped my shoulder, and it still hurts. And I have loads of physio. It hurts now. I have loads of physio.
Rotator cuff, was it?
Yeah, 3 years ago, right? How's your right shoulder?
It's do you know what? I'm actually been touched with really lucky with injuries.
Well, how come I can do one serve and it still hurts, and you have a lifetime of fast bowling and it's all right? I know you're a professional.
I was going to say, can I be polite enough to say I was a professional athlete?
Yeah. Just about got there before him.
Could I question your warm-up techniques or how much preparation had you done before that serve?
My ego techniques you could question, that's for sure.
I bet you went from 0 to 100 mile an hour, didn't you?
Well, I'd like to have gone to 100. It was about 15, but it still was enough. Personally, anything I can do about this?
You can maybe try swimming. Get in the pool.
Okay, I'll try swimming. Okay, I'll finish
stretch.
Interview, then I'll go swimming. But what about this ball that broke both your cheeks and broke your nose?
Yeah, it was ugly.
It was ugly, and it came from nowhere. Clearly, obviously, didn't the bowler change direction or change going around the wicket or something?
Yeah, and I actually what caused it to go through my grill was actually I top edged the ball, which added spin.
Why don't you explain what happened? Because I've read the book. So what happened?
So I was playing against India at Old Trafford, and I was facing Varun Aaron, who bowled me 2 bouncers, and I played them well, hit them for 6. So he changed his angle and came over the wicket, bowled me another one. I thought, happy days, I'm going to have another hook shot at this. And I top edged the ball instead of middling it, and it spun through my helmet grill and just hit me flush onto the nose. It did. Maybe a bit graphic for this early in the morning, but
it fault on the helmet grill. No offense to people.
It shouldn't have got through. It shouldn't have got through. But it split my nose down the middle, broke it both places, broke both my cheekbones. But to be honest, it wasn't that. It wasn't that painful at the time because it was
my shoulder on the other hand.
It wasn't that painful at the time. I was a bit like, oh gosh, that's hit me. Yeah, where's that hit me? Is it my teeth? Is it my nose? But I think it had some psychological damage going forward. I was probably 28, 29 at the time, and I never really recaptured the form with the bat that I'd shown before that.
Because you have 160 odd to your name, don't you?
In 160 at Lords. That was 2010. So I can play, and I just lost a bit of confidence in practice, and I almost gave me the reality of how much a ball can hurt. Does that make sense?
No, totally. And if you didn't go naturally forward, and nor did you go back, so you found yourself in no man's land.
Yeah, I lost probably my mental fortitude to batting a little bit, which made me lose a bit of technique. So probably didn't practice as hard as I could have done, and I saw myself very much as a bowler who could add useful runs and. It was a tough time, and I probably didn't deal with that mentally as well as I should have done. I didn't go to a psychologist and go, look, I'm suffering with this a little bit, help me get through this. I very much focused all my mental techniques around bowling, But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and if I had my time again, I'd probably hit that.
Yeah, but you are where you are. And you wouldn't be here talking to us, having this conversation. You might not have Annabelle, because that's the way we're all exactly where we're meant to be, which I think is so reassuring and takes all the anxiety away from any situation, any moment anyway. If you remember to breathe, I think that's the most important thing. So what is it like when a batsman has a bowler on the run? What's that feel like, Stuart?
Well, it's happened a few times to me.
Give us the most memorable over.
Yeah, I mean, I as a young kid, 21, I think I was 21, 22, I got hit for 6 sixes by Yuvraj Singh in Durban, which is it's quite a unique thing. Not many people has that happened to. I think in the history of the game, maybe, I'm guessing 6 times, maybe 7 times. So it was quite a devastating thing to happen as a young kid, for sure. Just
let's slow down a bit. Sorry, my fault, because that's a bit too quickly. Second ball, 2-6, 2 from 2.
Yeah.
Third ball. You think, well, the odds are still with me. How is that journey? If we slow that journey...
I wasn't thinking the odds were still with me at the time. No, it was a scramble. It was a scramble. It was my brain got a bit fried, and ultimately I tried to bowl the same ball 6 times, which I learnt from a huge amount, because I never tried to do that again. It was
that wouldn't work, wouldn't it?
It wouldn't work. Really, after 3, I should have gone, this isn't working. I should maybe try and change this up.
Just put a spin in there or something.
Yeah, so it was one of those, it was a really bad day for me, a really bad day as a young kid, but also probably made my career. Right. Because it made my mindset change to having to have routines. I had to develop a mental side of my game that looked after me. It's where I set my goal that lasted till the day I moved on from the game, of continuous improvement, because I'd sort of just stalled. I was a bit feeling like talent was going to get me everywhere. I was sort of played for England for 2 years. I'm talking for 3 or 4 months, cruising around thinking, I've got this. I can be an international player for a long time, because I've got a bit of talent. And that taught me that it's all about hard work. It's all about mindset. And I don't think I'd have played till I was 37 and taken 600 test wickets if it wasn't for that day, because it hardened me up. And I learned a lesson at 22 that it takes a lot of sports people maybe to the 26, 27, to be honest, to really learn about what it takes.
You refer to it in the book as what makes you tick.
Yeah.
It took you till you were 27 to realise what in cricket, what it was that made you tick. What was it, if you could pick out one thing?
So for me, it was about outwardly engaging, say, the crowd or teammates. I think if I got internal, so if I started thinking technically within myself within a game situation, I was gone.
Wow.
That was no good.
Wow.
If I ever started thinking technically or getting internal within my brain, I'd go to a teammate and say, what do you think about this? How are you feeling about this? Or certainly towards the back end, I'd get the crowd going, because I felt like the crowd added a nice pressure to me, because ultimately you can't get 30,000 people jumping and then bowl a rubbish ball, can you? It doesn't work. You can't get people cheering and then go, oh, that's gone to the boundary. So I found that if I got external to things and got the energy going from outside of me,
but what's
helped.
that? Back to mum. But let's have some fun here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that really worked for me. And ultimately, a question I get asked a lot is, what would you tell a younger Stuart, like a 15-year-old Stuart? And it would have been, make notes, like learn more when you're in those early 20s.
You did make a lot of notes though, didn't you?
I did, but from 26, 27 on.
Got it.
And that helped grow so much experience and knowledge.
Yeah, one of my favourite quotes about talent is only a starting point. And it's the same.
100%.
It's the same like good ideas. Good ideas don't go anywhere by themselves. It's all about the execution, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So you can start with that seed, but you've got to water it. You've got to make sure it faces the sun. You've got to tend it, you've got to shelter it from the wind, all that kind of stuff. The sports psychology thing fascinates me. All psychology fascinates me because it's so real and it's so evident. It's so useful as well, isn't it, in your life? And you talk about various sort of mental geniuses giving you sort of pointers like, inhabit a certain character when you go into the field. You talk about the warrior mentality as well. All the different characters that you've deployed depending on where you are, whether it's a test match or a one day, or whether you're overseas, whether you're feeling lonely, all these different things, because it's not really how Stuart Broad wakes up in the morning with his talent, his commitment and his training. It also depends what the weather's like, what mood you're in, whether you say that, because it's never the same, is it? ever.
Never the same.
So what were you taught about that could help people listening today going about their own business?
Yeah, I mean, the note-taking that really helped me, going back to this summer, so Baz and Stokesy within the group they want the changing room to be a very positive place. So there's no scope for going, I feel a bit tired this morning, I'm not feeling quite right.
Yeah.
You almost have to get that out your mind before you get to the changing room. So I'd wake up, grab a coffee, and then write my notes straight away. And it's okay for me to say I'm tired, but I'd say it to myself in my notes and go, look, appreciate that you're a bit tired this morning, you're maybe a bit sore, but that's fine, but bring energy to the group.
Yeah.
So actually, when you walk in the change room, say how great the coffee was at the hotel. Almost like, not fake it, but almost act like you feel great. Because,
what is great about today already?
Yeah. So for me, what really helped me was acknowledging and being honest with how I was feeling. But also, if someone says to you in the morning, I feel a bit tired. Well, ultimately, you go, maybe I'm a bit tired, actually.
Yeah. Totally. 100%.
So, but if you walk in a change room and go, I feel great today. How good is this? The sun's shining. We're going to take wickets today. Then ultimately, someone will go, I think we are going to take wickets today. And then the conversation just naturally leads in a positive way. And
who's the most positive person you've ever played with? Who's irrepressibly, annoyingly positive?
So I know we've mentioned Baz a bit. He's been coached for 15 months. I've never heard him say a negative word, ever. So even when a batter gets caught on the boundary, he goes, another yard, it would have been 6. It's not, you didn't quite middle. So he must get back to his room at night and go, just negative town. That was rubbish, that was rubbish. But he's been so authentic with how he's been around the group. And that, a small example, Zach Crawley hit the first ball of the Ashes for 4, crunched it through the cover.
Wondrous, wasn't it?
3 days before, we're having a barbecue up in Scotland. And for four,
and you're playing golf
before.
And you just
we're at Loch Lomond. Yeah,
no mention of cricket.
No, and we're having a barbecue, and Zach goes, I'm going to hit the first ball of the Ashes for 4. And in times gone by, someone would have gone, oh yeah, you're dreaming, or yeah, rightio, or I can't believe you said that out loud type thing. But everyone around, and Ben Duckett, who was going to be out, went, I think you are, I know you are. You're going to crunch it. So that he'd already planted that seed. So yeah, he got a ball outside off stump and he middled it through the covers before the atmosphere at Edgbaston went berserk. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But he'd already talked about that. And the culture within the group was, yeah, of course you are. Of course you are. Yeah, that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
No one went, but what happens if you get out?
Yeah.
And that, I think that's what Baz has managed to bring to the environment, that these young players are learning now at 23, 24. They'll carry that through their whole career.
Yeah.
So it's a cultural change within English cricket, I think, of the Test match team. And
yeah, let's hope it doesn't ever go backwards.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
I mean, why would it? Vassos?
Oh, I love how you keep coming back all the way through the book, and I like the cricket nerdy bits. I think my favourite Stuart Broad moment actually is that 169 when you came in as a number 9. But I love the fact, just on a human level, you keep coming back to, you keep saying the word content, keep saying the word satisfied, you keep saying the word fulfilled. You've definitely made the right call. I mean, what a crowning glory to your career, but you're happy that it's over.
I wouldn't say I'm happy that it's over. I think I've had no regrets of making that decision right now. I think ultimately I won't know until I see Jimmy Anderson walk on the field in his whites and England cap, because I'll be like, oh God, am I missing that? Do I want to be there?
You'll definitely feel like that.
But yeah, I think I will. And that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm allowed to feel like that. But I think something's looked after me in the fact that I hit my last ball for 6. I took a wicket with my last ever ball. If I ever stepped on a field again, I'm never going to be able to achieve that again.
And also go back and, would you have bought that? Last ball, last wicket as a bowler.
Oh, I couldn't have written that script.
Last ball as a batsman, 6 for England.
Yeah, I couldn't have written that.
In the Ashes.
I couldn't have written that script.
Well, you could have written it, but you wouldn't have...
I wouldn't have believed it.
Nobody had bought the script.
Yeah, so it's... I think I feel content because I do know I could have played on and I was loving it, and I never wanted to get to that stage in sport where it became a chore and then your lasting memories are, I wasn't very good, I felt tired, I felt sore. So I'm leaving going, I love cricket. So when I talk to kids about cricket, when I talk to Annabella about cricket in the future, it will be with great memories and great energy, instead of just getting to that stage where I was over the hill and had gone. And
because you're so fresh now. and because you're such a fan of Baz, and because you've been in the thick of it like a second ago, again with the Ashes, and because of all the Bairstow stuff, wouldn't they? Has it ever happened where they've just immediately drafted somebody onto the coaching staff, like straight away, boom?
Good question.
Would you take that job if they offered it to you this afternoon?
I think I probably wouldn't, because I think part of the stepping away from the game, there's a lot of travel within international cricket.
And you just had a baby and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think I just want to calm down a bit and spend a bit of time at home and control.
Well, I would love to have you with Casball and Bazball. You're the love child of Kaz and Baz Ball. The balls. Yeah.
I think ultimately, with Jimmy still being around, there's so much experience in that changing room still. I think if Jimmy and I had gone together, I think that could have been a conversation, because it's such an awesome place to work.
So
it's such an awesome place to be. But
of course, you were cutting your teeth commentating, weren't you, with the 100?
Yeah.
So you've already dipped your toe into that pool.
Yeah, did that. I must admit, I was getting a lot of texts like, "Oh, you've jumped straight in there, haven't you?" But I'd actually sorted those dates back in February, so it was.
But you're good at it. You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And ultimately, I think with punditry and coaching, it still gives you that feeling of big matches. You still get to walk on the pitch. You still get to be out there and see the crowd. So, I'm a cricket fan, and it's my greatest hobby. I'm always going to be around the sport.
Well, you see Phil Neville, and we all know, Phil Neville's property portfolio has been talked about. Like, he's not short of a few quid, but he's out there, isn't he, for Sky Sports, and he's got his winter coat on. He was there this weekend, freezing cold, but still loving it. He doesn't need to do that.
Well, we've commentated on golf together, haven't we, Chris, with ex-players who sort of still feel they're playing.
And they're as competitive behind the mic as they were on the blooming golf course.
Yeah.
Which is all the better for it. I mean, it's not great to be around.
Yeah, and I'm never going to lose the care of English cricket or Nottinghamshire cricket. Still every time I flick on, I just want them to win and my friends and teammates to do well. So it's one of those like, I'm not in the team anymore, and I'm not going to put the cap on anymore. But I still feel part of it.
A couple of quickies because we're nearly out of time. What's a Bale Mary for people who don't know?
Bale Mary is something I did twice in my career, which probably should have done 17 years previous. If I changed the bails over and took a wicket the next ball.
Is that just to freak people out or what?
I don't know where it came from. Honestly, I thought
And you're allowed to do that?
You're allowed to do it, yeah.
How come you're allowed to?
I thought it was an Australian change of luck. That's why I tried it. Turns
what
out
happened next?
Every Australian had never heard of it, and we got a wicket the next ball.
You got a wicket. And what's the other thing? Oh, yeah. Couple of things. You can always lay a flagstone or two if you need a few quid, can't you? Because you've done that for a living.
I did,
in the past, which helped you buy your first car, which was the Vauxhall Corsa, which was probably too small for you because you're like 12 feet tall. What was the most teammates you had in the Vauxhall Corsa, and then what was the best sponsored car you got? A, from a car point of view, B, from a height point of view.
Good question. The Vauxhall Corsa, I could barely fit in it myself, so I never had any teammates in that.
I still love Vauxhall Corsas.
With the cricket kit, I had cricket bats coming out the front seat, out the windows, everything. So that was quite fun. The best sponsored car, we had Jaguar for a while, which was pretty cool. We all got XKRs, so we had to turn up at the ground in them. So yeah, we looked pretty cool in them.
Well, you're 37. You look 27.
I was going to say that. What's your skincare routine? Never mind this cricket.
And you're not as blonde as you used to be. You still got a full head of hair, but you were really blonde at one point.
Yeah, that was highlighted.
No, it wasn't. That was a kid.
As a kid. I was very blonde as a kid. Yeah, I just spent my all the time outside. It was sun bleached.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Stu. I think we're done and we're out of time, but thanks for the book.
No,
thanks
for having me.
Thanks for the book. Thanks for being so nice. Thanks for that lovely lunch we enjoyed at Wimbledon with you and your mum.
Yeah, it was great.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, great.
I didn't realise I was in the company of the originator of Casball at the time. We had a lovely time. You clearly love your mum to bits.
Yeah, she's a star.
Well done, mate. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, thank you very much for having me, and thanks for reading the book.
Well, enjoy fatherhood. Are you getting married soon-ish?
Ish, it's still in the pipeline.
Okay, but you've done the proposal at the top of the hill and all that. It's all in the book. It's all in the book. It's a great story. Stuart Broad, let's hear for Stuart Broad. Control room, round of applause. One of the greats of the game. Okay, have a great Monday, everyone. We'll see you Tuesday. Goodbye.